It's Halloween weekend here, and has the world ever been in a scarier time? To help you out, we got a great show planned for you later on in the program. Rob Paulsen, Emmy-winning cartoon voice actor. You know him as Yakko on Animaniacs, Pinky on Pinky and the Brain, Carl Weezer on Jimmy Neutron Boy Genius. But you're going to find out a little something you don't know about Rob today. His work with kids with autism and in hospitals, and a little about his own harrowing journey back to health. That's later in the program. Right now, because it is Halloween time, I wanted to think of the scariest possible guest we could have on this show for you. The most just scariest, most terrifying person I could talk to. And I think you'll agree with me. I've come up with the right person. So, welcome to the program, the year 2020. How you doing, 2020?
I'm a mess.
Yeah, I know you're a mess. Now, I remember meeting you back in January.
I started out the year, I was in shape. I was going to the gym like once a week, which was good for me.
Yeah.
I waited in line for years for this job, right?
Oh, really?
I have
How do you get this job? How do you become 2020?
Listen, we don't tell everybody our family business. I'm just saying that it's in the family. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I waited for years, right? Everybody was excited. 2020 started off. I was in shape, only drinking 4 or 5 times a week, right?
Right.
Drinking, just drinking a couple of beers, no big deal.
No big deal.
Then all of a sudden, it starts with the COVID. But then everybody starts to blame me. 2020.
It is kind of your fault. I mean,
it's not my fault. What was I going to do? But I don't blame people. What am I going to do? Start blaming China? I can't do that. They're my people too. You know what I'm saying?
Sure, exactly.
So and there I sit down, and then I get people coming to my house. I got to have the bat. Right? You know, sometimes I get 2023 coming to my house. That's how aggravated they are. My family will talk to me. Okay? Now I got a nephew, 2021. He's always driving by at night, but he don't say nothing. He just drives by the Cadillac. And, he toots the horn. I know it's him. I know it's coming, too,
But you got to admit, as years go, you're pretty crappy.
Everybody's talking about the postal service and the election, that they won't get the mail, right?
Yeah,
but if they can't do the ballots, how is it that if you just write 2020 sucks, it comes to my door right away? I get these 10 times a day, and there's nothing inside. You think maybe they throw me $1 or something?
People are out of work, people are suffering, and everyone's blaming you.
I got the gout, and I got to take the cherry pills.
It seems like you've just kind of taken your hands off the wheel.
Well, what happened was the liquor company started to sponsor me. That's how bad it got. They were like,
really?
Hey, we got to make sure people are staying home and drinking. So next thing you know, I got a call from Seagram's. Seagram's called me up. Turns out only people over 80 drinking that, but I didn't know. But I started to like the taste, so I'm good to go right now. I got my flask. Flask, which is nice. And I watch movies, That movie, Beer League, I can put that in my koozie. I watch that,
Sure, I heard that was funny.
This COVID thing, my phone is all lousy now. Where'd you go? Are you there?
You need more proof that this is the worst year ever. You can't even run a Skype. Do you have guests visiting you? We have to social distance. 2020, do you have to social distance?
1997. She's a doll face. She got a little long in the tooth. She comes by. Even though it was 23 years ago, she still comes by and I bust her chops a little bit. She feels bad for me. You know what I'm saying?
I don't blame her.
I got an uncle people don't talk about. He's my great granduncle. He was 1918. Ooh. Okay? And the family hadn't talked about him for years, so I went on to Google. And would you believe, when I went to the grave, I saw an envelope like this. And it just said 1918 sucks. Went right to his grave. So I'm never going to live this down. Never going to live this down.
Any way you want to measure it, you've been like a horrible year. The stock market is down. All the major sports have had weird seasons. People can't be with their families. People are sick and ill and dying. Is there any good news to 2020?
I think the last 2 months are going to be all right. The holidays get people back together a little bit. Won't they stay social distant? Maybe I can round it out with a good year.
You think possibly you might be able to salvage your reputation in these last 2 months?
Let me tell you something. My whole life is all about tomorrow, right? That's our family business is tomorrow. We don't look back. That's not how it works. And then we go from there. But listen, rumor has it 2021, he's not so good either. That's it. I'm just hearing rumors at the family.
Wow.
You know who the happiest year is in my family? Don't ask me why.
No. Who?
1961. 1961. You would no reason. I don't know. Midway through Kennedy, the guy, he's happy as hell. He's got the black and white television, right?
You know what? First of all, it's been a joy and a pleasure at checking in with you 2020, and I don't blame you. I realize the circumstances were beyond your control, and maybe you're right. Maybe you're going to pull it out in the next 2 months, and people will look back on 2020 and say, he wasn't such a bad guy. I think that's a remote possibility, but it does exist.
Maybe there'll be more babies. Maybe people get laid at home or not, Or there could be more stabbings too, like that kind of thing.
That was the year 2020. First of all, you got to give him credit for joining us. I'm sure he's getting bad press, and you saw the hate mail from all quarters, so it's very brave of him to join us here today. And what I consider the scariest guest we could have possibly had on this Halloween weekend. Now we're going to move on to a much more sweet and wonderful person, our old pal, Rob Paulsen. And I talked to him late last night about some of the cool things he gets to do and laughter itself. The only two emotions that are the same in every culture on this planet are crying and laughing. Everything else is different. Every facial expression, language, but laughing is laughing. And it's truly universal. And it just, it makes people feel good.
I get to work a lot with autistic kids. Mm-hmm. And often folks on the autism spectrum connect with animated characters, SpongeBob, Yakko, Ninja Turtles, Rick and Morty, you name it, Flintstones. And what fascinates me about what you said with respect to laughter, Boffo, is so vitally important to the human experience, if I can get a little existential. I have a dear friend named Leonard Mlodinow, who is a world-class physicist and teaches at Caltech. He wrote 3 books with Stephen Hawking. He's a huge Pinky and the Brain fan. I have many dear friends on the autism spectrum, and their parents, we keep in touch and we do Zoom chats and stuff like that. I meet them at different events when we're not doing COVID con.
Right.
And here we are with 2 human beings. In the case of Leonard Mlodinow, a Stephen Hawking peer, a man who teaches about black holes and the extent of the length and the depth and the width of the universe, concepts that I can't even pronounce. And a young man on the autism spectrum who, when he meets me or Tom Kenny or Kevin Conroy's Batman or whatever, the young man or woman might be in a really desperate state. Lots of anxiety, lots of noise at a convention, but they're sticking it out because they want to meet this character. I don't know that they know who I am. It doesn't matter. But the moment I start doing this, both Mr. Mlodinow and the young fellow or woman on the autism spectrum focus like a laser. They both laugh. They both laugh at the same joke, in the same spot, at the same punchline. And then when everything is over and they're calmed down and they go home, Mr. Mlodinow teaches the most complex concepts in the history of the human race. And the other young man or woman goes home and sadly may have difficulty buying a Slurpee. But something connects them that is so fundamentally human, and it has nothing to do with their relative intellect. And it is the most incredible thing in the world. It speaks exactly to what you mentioned, Boffo, and it's a very important thing for people to see.
Yeah, I think what makes you fearful or laugh, it's the oldest, deepest part of the brain. And when you hit it, it's like a tuning fork. Funny is funny. I defy you to watch a classic Bugs Bunny Warner Brothers cartoon, and if you don't laugh out loud, you're a jagoff. You have no soul, right? Funny is funny.
Right. Bugs Bunny is a consummate actor, a scamp. He can be serious, raises an eyebrow. Now, it's a
He does
complex-
drag. He does everything. He does the guy on the scooter delivering the telegrams. All of that.
Right? Joy and sadness are two uniquely human traits. Well, I shouldn't say uniquely because our pets miss us when we're gone.
Right.
Kalita misses you. But your point is so well taken, and I hope I'm not rambling too much, but it's very important to discuss that, because it all boils down to how glorious this opportunity that we all have to share laughter. It's remarkable.
You spent all that time visiting kids in the hospital who are sick, making phone calls to kids that were sick. What was it like to get that ironic phone call and to be on the other side of that phone call when you found out that you were ill?
Dr. Hop, how are you, Doc? And he says, I'm good. How are you, Rob? And I said, I don't know. How am I? He said, well, it's cancer. It's stage 3 metastatic squamous cell carcinoma with occult primary. And as you can imagine, it was a bit surprising.
Yeah.
But, I have to say, not once did my wife, my son, nor I ever get freaked out and say, oh, my God, I'm a voice actor. My throat. Are you kidding me?
But the irony, it's
fantastic.
It's just ridiculous.
Yeah, because I had the great good fortune and privilege of being with so many children on the phone and in person with you, Boffo, many times, I had a perspective about how bad my situation was. I was never going to have to deal with losing my son at 4 years old, or seeing my wife succumb to cancer at 30. So that's my parole officer. Sorry. Seeing my wife succumb to cancer at 32 years old and not live to see her children grow up. I wasn't going to have to deal with that.
Right.
And it occurred to me at the very moment that I got off the phone with my oncologist, who broke the bad news, but not unsurprising news, that at the very same moment, Boffo, you and I live in Hollywood. We live in LA. It's a big city. At this very moment, somebody's getting a phone call about their 5-year-old. Somebody's getting a phone call about their husband, who is 37, and the prognosis is dire. So I had a remarkable opportunity to deal with it with a perspective that most people who are diagnosed don't have, and it's a real gift. To be able to have that, to kind of center you and go, okay, well, it's not my kid. It's not my wife. I'm already 60 years old. You know what? I think I can do this. But now, what I have subsequent to the chemo and radius, 4 years ago, this time I was on the mend. It took me about 1.5 years to kind of get myself back to normal. I'm different, but I think I'm better in some ways. My sense of empathy, Boffo, is through the roof. Now when I hold somebody's hand, literally or emotionally, because I have this wonderful opportunity. I'm the spokesman for the Head and Neck Cancer Alliance. I've been done it for 1 year now. And
it's a tough way to get a gig.
Oh man, no kidding. It'll kill you. But I have this wonderful opportunity now because I know what I'm talking about. When I say to someone, I get it. I understand. I really do.
Yeah.
And I can help them, with this experience that they're fixing to go through. It's pretty cool. And for those of you who may be interested, please check out headandneck.org. One word, headandneck.org. And yours truly is there with my particular story. But it's a wonderful organization because it helps people deal with different types of throat cancer. That I had the same type that just took Eddie Van Halen. And it's pretty difficult to see that. But I'm good. I'm here. And I'm very lucky to be in the position. And I have a platinum lining to my cancer experience because I get to help now. So I'm a lucky turtle, Boffo.
Hey everybody, if you like what you saw, make sure you subscribe and click that notification button. And fill up the comments. Tell me what you'd like to see on the show and we will get it done. Thanks for watching.